everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm the unobtrusive healer. My human name is Felicia though, so it's nice to be with you again, or it's nice to have you here if you're here for the first time. So today's reading is just some quick messages for the full moon in Cancer. So we're hoping to get some helpful advice for this full moon experience based on your zodiac sign. You can look at your sun, moon and your rising placements for a full look. It may be that they all relate to something a little bit different, or they may all relate to the same thing, you never know. But it's also helpful because if one doesn't quite match your situation, because they are a general or a collective reading, picking up on the collective, it's helpful because if there's one that doesn't resonate, there's usually a couple of others that do. So for a full look, do check those out. If you don't know them, there's a link in my description box below to Cafe Astrology, and you can find these out or find this information out for free. All you need is your birth time and your location if you want like a really accurate chart. But if you don't quite know your birth time, you can get a rough look. If you try a time in the morning and a time at night, you can see if the sun, moon and rising are the same, or it might be that your moon placement changes because the moon does change every couple of days. And then I think the rising sign, I can't quite remember how long it takes for that to change, but by reading each of the, I suppose, the chart info, like the descriptions that would shape you as a person, you might be able to decide what you resonate with the most and say, well, I'm more than likely a such and such moon and a such and such rising because that sounds more like me. So yeah, link below for that. They are just going to be quick messages. I'm going to go through each sign in order from Aries to Pisces. And with this reading and any other, as always, my intention here with my channel is to guide and encourage viewers on their highest path, or to help you tune into your highest self and embody that version of yourself as best you can, and to also guide people in their journey towards self-love and self-acceptance. But please know that you always have the free will and the power to rewrite your story and reshape outcomes. You are co-creating your reality with the universe at any and all times. And if an outcome comes through that you don't like, you do have the power to change it. Or if an outcome comes through that you do like and you do wish to align with, you also have the power to sabotage it by making bad choices and things like that. So just keep that in mind. But without further ado, we're going to get into our messages for the full moon in Cancer. And we are going to be starting with Aries. So for Aries, sun, moon, rising, what is the full moon in Cancer advice? Full moon in Cancer advice for Aries, please. So we have the Six of Cups, and underneath the deck we have the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. So for Aries signs, this feels like you're kind of taking a walk down memory lane. The Six of Cups is about like nostalgia, being focused on the past, and this is an emotional card. So this is something that you have an emotional attachment to or an emotional connection to, or you're just in your feelings about this thing. Now this thing would relate to this Ace of Pentacles here that's in reverse. So this is something that didn't grow or didn't meet the potential it should have met, and you're really in your feelings about this and possibly doing a lot of reflection and asking yourself a lot of questions on why this growth or this potential wasn't met, and revisiting the idea of it in some way, and possibly trying to come up with some answers or making decisions on what to do about this. So that's what I can see for your full moon in Cancer experience. So yeah, just take the time to sit in your feelings and do that self-reflection. Let's move into Taurus signs now. So for Taurus, sun, moon, rising signs, What is the full moon in Cancer advice for Taurus? So we have the Queen of Pentacles in the reverse position, and we have the Chariot in the reverse position. Okay. So there is some instability and a lack of sort of feeling grounded around this full moon, and it seems to be because you either feel stunted in your progress or you feel like you're not making progress. So there seems to be it feels like it's both material stability, but it also feels like an inner material instability, but it also seems to be like affecting your inner world and your inner sense of security and stability. So I think that what's being highlighted for you is where you feel like you're not making progress, where you feel like you're maybe being pulled off path or going in a different direction and feeling a lack of security in that. And I just think that this is really going to highlight for you where you need to really put your focus in order to create a sense of structure. So I feel like you're going to start to have a shift where you realize that you need to be more disciplined, you need to put more energy and effort in towards your goals. But first, to do that, you need a very clear direction. You need to know exactly where you want to go and focus on that one thing instead of scattering your energy on the wrong things. So it feels like this full moon's really highlighting where you're going in the wrong direction or where you're being pulled off path, and the sense of insecurity that creates within you and within your material world. So I think you're going to be able to see clearly where you need to put your energy and where you need to kind of withdraw it. So that's your message for the full moon in Cancer. All right, moving on to Gemini now. For Gemini signs, please. What is the full moon in Cancer advice for Gemini? Okay, so we have the World in reverse, and we have the Magician in reverse, which is a Gemini card. Okay, so this feels a little bit like something that you are either really good or really gifted at. It's like you're revisiting this gift or this talent or this skill and wondering whether you should pursue it to the point of completion. It feels like you've either had this idea before, or you've started working on this skill before, but for whatever reason it didn't come to a completion. Like you didn't see the goal through to the end, and it feels like this is kind of coming back around now, and you're wondering whether, or you're thinking about maybe like going down that route now and really seeing it through. So something that was unfinished that relates to your talents or your skills, you seem to be revisiting this idea again, and it feels like you may be contemplating, like trying again or seeing it through this time. So it could be like, you know, an old dream, an old goal, an old like something, whether it's like creative, material, spiritual, whatever it is, it's something that you're very gifted at, something that you have a skill set in, or something that you would have a skill set in if you went down that path. It's like it would come to you very naturally, but for whatever reason, you're holding yourself back from that, where I feel like it's kind of like part of your purpose and it's meant to be a journey that you do complete. So it's like once you start and like take that leap, it's going to be a very natural process for you. Like everything, it's like you did this in a past life, and all of that knowledge and talent will just sort of flood back to you in very in ways that you can't explain because you've done this before, and it's like your soul starts to remember, and all these natural talents sort of come back to you. So whatever's holding you back from like taking that leap, I feel like this full moon may give you the encouragement to kind of like let go of all that fear, or let go of what's holding you back, and really immerse yourself in this goal or this dream that you have. All right, so it feels like that's like this dream or this goal that you have is what's going to kind of make you feel whole. Like it's like if you feel like something's missing in your world, or you're feeling a lack of fulfillment, even though everything's fine in your world, it's because you haven't connected to this purpose or this talent, and you haven't seen it through yet. So this full moon is kind of giving you a push in that direction, it seems. All right, I'm going to take a quick sip of water before I move into Cancer. Okay, so for Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, what is their full moon in Cancer advice? So the full moon is in your sign, Cancer. And let's see how it's going to be impacting you. Cancer signs. What's the full moon in Cancer advice for Cancer signs? Okay, so we have the Death card in the reverse position, and underneath we have the Eight of Cups in the reverse position as well. Okay, interesting. So the way this is initially coming across to me is that this full moon is giving you an opportunity to reflect on why you're holding on to things and staying in situations that are not serving you, instead of releasing and walking away. In the upright position, that's what this would be. It would be releasing and moving on, or walking away. But in the reverse position, for some reason, you're stuck. So this is kind of, it's giving you the opportunity, this full moon, to really sit with yourself and do a lot of that introspection. That's the key word on this card. To question, like I said, why do you hold on to things that don't serve you? Why do you stay stuck? Why do you not take the initiative to move on? Is it because you feel like you don't deserve better? Is it because you feel like you're bound? Is it because you feel like you won't succeed? Is like, what is the underlying belief that's making you hold on to things and settle for things? Like, you know, settle for this Eight of Cups instead of finding the Ten of Cups type of energy. So think that it's important to sit with yourself. I think that it's important to get some alone time, to really sit with your feelings and understand what's driving you to stay stuck or to keep holding on to whatever this might be. So this could be people, it could be habits, it could be beliefs, it could be a job or career that's not serving you, it could be a way of living. And whatever the case, it feels like there are things, or at least one thing, that you should be leaving behind and moving on from, but for some reason you're staying stuck and you're clinging or holding on to this old way of being, or this old person, or this whatever it is, this habit, etc., etc. So the reason that it's giving you the opportunity to get clarity on this is because if you distract yourself, or if you avoid yourself and your emotions, then obviously you're just sort of avoiding what's going on in there, and you won't have that clarity, and then maybe you will continue to stay stuck and stay holding on. So yeah, be sure to do a lot of reflection, maybe journaling, meditation, sit with your feelings. And yes, where are we up to? Leo. So we're now going to do a full moon in Cancer advice message for Leo, sun, moon, rising signs. Oh, you got your own card, Leo. You got the Strength card. So bravery. Oh, and we've got the Fool. Okay. So this full moon is giving you guys strength and courage to take that leap of faith, or to make that change. And I just want to also point out that underneath that, the Fool card was the Ace of Wands, new beginning, and the Fool card is all about new beginnings, and it's about, leap first, worry about the consequences later. Don't think about the negatives, just go for it and see what happens. So this full moon is giving you a lot of strength, courage, and bravery, a lot of confidence to take a leap of faith. I haven't done this for anyone else, but let's get another card and see, what is this leap of faith towards for Leos? What is this leap of faith towards for the Leo collective? What's that? Two of Swords. Okay, so it feels like you've been at a bit of a crossroads or a little bit indecisive lately, and it seems like this full moon is either you're going to have a realization or a sudden clarity, or this sudden burst of energy where you just go, this is my decision, I'm going for it, I'm taking the leap. So this feels like you've been sitting on the fence about something, and this is where you finally get the courage to just go, I'm going for it. So whatever it is, it will be different for everybody, but whatever you've been sitting on the fence about and you've been unsure about, this full moon's giving you the courage and the confidence to get off the fence and commit to your decision. So that's quite positive for you guys. Very quick message, but very direct. Now it's time for Virgos. So what is the full moon in Cancer advice for Virgo placements, please? Virgo, sun, moon, rising signs. Virgo, sun, moon, rising. Full moon in Cancer message. Okay, so you've got two coming out already. So we got the Hanged Man in the reverse and the Four of Wands. And we'll just briefly check under the deck. We have the High Priestess in reverse in a voice. a situation that's been stuck, still, or stagnant is being sort of, how would you put, freed. Whatever's been stuck is being freed. It's like if there's a wheel and there's like something wedged in the wheel, it's like the wedge is being removed and the momentum can now start. And this is definitely very positive and it's something worth celebrating. So the Four of Wands makes me think that it would be connected to the home, children, and romance, because the Four of Wands is generally about, you know, your foundation. It can be a card about marriage and commitment and love. It can be about children, family, and celebrations of the home. So I feel like this is something that you don't see coming. With the High Priestess in reverse, for some reason, your inner voice or your inner thinking, your inner world is either not expecting this or not seeing this or telling you something different. So it's like your intuition's off about this. So whatever you think you feel about this situation, it's like you're wrong, and this full moon is going to show you something that is going to surprise you. So there is a surprise that's going to be as a result of this full moon. It's going to get something unstuck and it's going to be something worth celebrating, and it's definitely something that you don't see coming. So if you're normally an intuitive person, and look at that underneath again is that the Eight of Wands, and underneath that is the Two of Cups. So if you're normally very intuitive, or you have like a strong kind of inner knowing normally, your inner knowing doesn't see this coming, but it's coming very quickly. There's going to be a lot of excitement and a lot of speed, and that it could be a very important relationship. And yeah, you're about to be very busy. You're about to have a very full plate, but it's, you know, things that you are excited about and joyful about. It's all very exciting. It's all very celebratory. It's all very positive. But yeah, you don't see this coming for some reason. So you're quite blinded to this, or the universe has been keeping this a surprise. So whatever this is, it's going to shock you, but it's going to be very, very good and very, very positive. So I'm going to take another quick sip of water, and then we're going to get into Libra. All right, so for Libra, what is the full moon in Cancer message, or the full moon in Cancer advice? All right, so for Libra, full moon in Cancer advice. Okay, that's too many. So we're gonna reshuffle. The deck's gone a bit jumpy for Libra. Feels, oh geez. This is the deck has started playing up for Libra signs, and the card that came out is Heartbreak, the Three of Swords, and the Six of Cups. Okay. So you seem to be another sign that maybe is being a little bit influenced by the current Mercury retrograde, because there is something from your past that seems to be resurfacing this full moon, and it does relate to old grief or old heartbreak that is still existing inside you on some level. So it feels like, you know, you're probably going to experience some old emotions resurfacing. And the best thing to do is just to lean into that, because it's coming up for a reason. And if you just sort of suppress it, or you tell yourself like, oh, I shouldn't be crying about this anymore, or I shouldn't be feeling this way anymore, and you insist that you're over it, then you're just blocking that emotional flow, and the emotions are going to stay blocked in your system, and they're going to create physical pain, because that's, you know, like blocked emotion is the root of all disease and impairment. So I feel like in order to really free yourself and free this emotion that's being stored within you, I think that you need to get out of your head and really just drop into those emotions and give them space to be felt, to be seen, to be heard, and to be released. This almost looks like tears to me, or that's how it's being kind of shown to me. It's just like a lot of tears. So if you have a sudden need to cry and it's like quite overwhelming, just if you have the space and the time to yourself, then really lean into those emotions. It's very healthy to let it, excuse me, my energy centers are starting to get really active, so I definitely feel like it's going to help you clear out some stored up or pent up emotions, and you're going to feel a lot freer once you let those feelings out. So yeah, the past is resurfacing in the form of old emotions or old pain that you've been storing, and the best way through it is to honor those emotions and give them space to be felt and released. So a lot of self-love will do you very good. A lot of loving your inner child, reparenting yourself. All right, Scorpio. Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising. What is the full moon in Cancer message for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising? Okay, so we have got the Two of Cups and the Five of Cups in reverse. Underneath the deck, we have the Lovers card. So this is probably going to be quite specific. It's coming through at the moment in the form of, like, I feel like I'm talking right now to Scorpios that are in a relationship, and it feels like this is a resurfacing of old grief or old emotion or old loss, old trauma and things like that, kind of resurfacing and impacting your relationship a little bit. It almost feels to me like you could be experiencing feelings that could try to influence you to self-sabotage a positive or a very divine connection. That's the first way I'm seeing it. So like if you are feeling uncomfortable or unsure about your relationship with your partner, this is like old energy and old emotions kind of being brought up within you, and you shouldn't make any rash decisions because I don't think it's necessarily your current relationship that's making you feel like this. This feels like old grief or old pain that's influencing you at the present time. So don't make any rash decisions or anything like that. And then if you are a single, I would read this as you are going to meet either a very, very good friend or a romantic partner who helps you get over a lot of old grief and a lot of old loss, because they're a divine connection. And it's like, I don't know, all of your ideas and beliefs about love completely transform and change, and you overcome all the challenges of the past, because this connection makes you feel so safe and so whole. Could be a Gemini or an air sign that you're about to meet. But that's what I'm seeing for Scorpios. All right, so Sagittarius, signs now. Full moon in Cancer, advice for Sagittarius signs. There's too many there, so we're not going to take those. Oh gosh. Again, there's too many. Okay, let's just cut the deck a couple more times for this one. This is what happened to Libra as well. The deck got really jumpy, so Sagittarius is having a similar energy in the cards, so just slow the shuffling down a little bit. Maybe you guys need to slow down a little bit this full moon. Full moon in Cancer, advice for Sagittarius. Oh, nearly flipped off the edge. Look at that. We have the Four of Swords, recuperation. Just as I was saying, you may need to slow down. All right, so we have the Four of Swords in the upright and Page of Swords in the reverse. So this is really a sign to do exactly what I said. Slow down. You don't have to be busy and thinking and on all the time. You can slow down, rest, rejuvenate, and restore. The Page of Swords is a card of, you know, having a thirst for knowledge, a thirst for experience, a thirst for just to basically, you know, craving new experiences, craving new learnings, craving new information, wanting to meet new people, wanting to talk, wanting to pick people's brains. Is this energy of always wanting constant stimulation. And this is a message here of just like letting that go for a little bit and recognizing the importance of slowing down and taking time where your brain's not constantly taking things in all the time and picking things apart and wanting to learn and wanting to connect and wanting to talk. It's definitely a sign to slow down this full moon. And yeah, release that need to know or to learn or to do all the time and just be a little more around this full moon. Side note, there could be someone who you butt heads with a little bit around this full moon and have a little bit of a disagreement with. So speak, what's that saying? Listen twice and speak once around the full moon. All right, so now we're going to go on to Capricorn. What is the full moon advice, full moon in Cancer advice for Capricorn, please? So we have the Three of Pentacles in the reverse and we have the Ten of Cups in the upright. Interesting. Okay. This makes me think that you will do best on your own around this full moon. So the Three of Pentacles in the upright position is all about like collaborations and teamwork and being around other people and, you know, like working together. But with that in reverse, it feels like you will get the most sense of peace and wholeness on your own rather than around others around this full moon. So the Ten of Cups is a card of like emotional fulfillment, emotional peace and well-being, you know, happiness, and just, yeah, really blissful feelings. And it feels like your bliss lies in your alone time and just sort of filling your own cup and doing the things that you want to do in your own time, in your own space, and without the interference of anyone else. So that is how you'll thrive this full moon. So this is probably a sign to kind of maybe say no to the invitations that you receive over the weekend and choose yourself and self-love instead. Because I suppose if you go against this intuitive pull to sort of be alone or to isolate, that's when you may kind of like conflict your best interests. You may clash with others instead of, you know, having that peaceful harmony with those you're around. It's like you're going to be a little bit out of sync with them instead of being really in sync. So it's a really good time to just sort of be alone and do the things that make you happy. As opposed to trying to make everyone else or others happy. All right, so moving on to Aquarius signs now. What is the full moon in Cancer advice for Aquarius, sun, moon, rising? Okay, we have got the Empress in reverse, and we have the Page of Pentacles in reverse. I'm kind of like, do I reshuffle? Because they came out so quickly, but I'd already put the intention in, so maybe they were just very ready to come out. We also have the Magician in reverse underneath the deck. So, all right, well, the Empress in reverse, this can be a sign that you either haven't been giving enough to yourself or that you just need to give more to yourself around this full moon. Which may be difficult because of this Page of Pentacles here. So there could be someone or something that is demanding a lot of your time and energy, and you're over here with barely anything left to give anyone else, let alone yourself. So this feels like needing to recognize the importance of prioritizing yourself when possible. So the first thing that comes to mind is like, let's say you're a parent and you get 2 hours to yourself this week, right? And in those 2 hours, instead of having like, you know, a nice bath, you know, doing a face mask or playing golf or like whatever, it's doing something that fills your cup for that 2 hours, you're like, no, I really need to clean the house. So you put your energy towards cleaning the house, and then you're completely depleted. Then your child comes back who needs a lot of your time and attention, because the Cancer full moon is very emotional. So they need a lot of your energy, and then you have like nothing to give, you know? So this is almost a sign that you need to radically prioritize self-love and filling your cup in any spare chance you get. You know, there will always be a to-do list. There will always be responsibilities every day that you wake up. Sometimes you just need to push those aside and say, I need this because I'm not in alignment with my best self and I have nothing to give, and therefore I'm not my best self for this person or this project or this thing that needs me right now. So definitely need to really fill your cup and nourish yourself. And this also could look like nourishing your inner child as well. So if your inner child is feeling a bit depleted and a bit pessimistic, because this would be like an optimistic card in the reverse. So if your inner child has lost hope about something or is feeling really defeated, this is about loving your inner child and reparenting your inner child and letting them know that they are still safe, they are still talented, they are still gifted, they are still worthy. Even if this thing didn't work out, you know, be there for yourself. So that's the message that I'm getting for Aquarius signs. All right, so moving on to the final sign of the zodiac now, Pisces. What is the full moon in Cancer advice for Pisces signs, please? Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. All right, so Pisces, you guys are a mess. No, I'm kidding. But that shuffle was definitely a mess. All right, so Pisces, full moon in Cancer advice for Pisces. No way. Okay, that is literally the same two cards that just came out for Aquarius. So the first thing I'm going to say is if you have jumped straight to Pisces via the timestamps, for some reason I feel like you need to watch the Aquarius reading. Even if you don't have Aquarius in your chart, that's telling me that you have a message in that reading that you need to hear as well. But let's try and get y'all a separate message because you deserve your own message, Pisces. Okay, so we have the Eight of Swords in the upright, and we have the Sun in the upright. So that's amazing because this is almost like what am I trying to say here? This is almost like the silver lining kind of thing. So it feels like you've been or you will be a little bit like stuck in your head. You might be feeling a little bit anxious. You might be feeling a little bit stressed because you've created certain limitations or certain beliefs in your mind that are self-imposed. But while you're over here focusing on all of the what ifs and the anxiety about a situation, what you don't see are all of the things that could go right or all of the positive things about the situation. So this full moon, it feels like you have the choice to either focus on the negatives or focus on the positives. But keep in mind that what you focus on, you attract. So try to choose to focus on the positive side of things in order to attract more of that positivity. Try not to buy into the mental prison that's going on around the full moon. Try to choose to focus on the light. Try to choose to focus on the positive, because there is a lot to be happy about and a lot to be grateful for. And I'm also seeing the message that to help you get out of your own head, a lot of time in nature and in the outdoors is going to be really helpful. So if the weather's appropriate, get outdoors as much as you can, whether it's hiking, whether it's by the hills, by the beach, by the ocean, by the lake, by whatever. Just get into nature, spend a lot of time in nature, get a lot of sunlight, because metaphorically this is going to kind of like, surround you with a lot of natural light, and that would have an impact on you. Whereas if you're staying indoors and not getting a lot of that natural light, it's going to be really hard to kind of like shift your focus to the light. So even if you feel very flat or anxious, really try to get outdoors, even if it's by yourself, and that will really help you kind of let a lot of that anxiety go. So that is all of the signs, and I kind of feel called to just sort of get a final collective message for everybody. So we might get like a few cards and do a quick collective message, and we might even get a spirit animal or two as well. What is the collective advice for all signs for the full moon in Cancer? Collective advice for all signs. The Devil in reverse. So release obsessive tendencies, things that don't serve you, anything that is taking your power away from you, or anything that you're giving your power away to. Avoid overindulgence. We have the Four of Wands on the side. Which way is this meant to fall? Oh, on the side. Okay. Okay, that's very interesting because the Lovers and the Devil card are very much connected in tarot. And it's very interesting that we have these two cards either side of the Four of Wands. So it does feel like there is something to celebrate that's coming out of this full moon, but the key advice is to not make any sudden decisions or any emotional decisions. Like postpone all decision making until the full moon energy has like subsided, because it feels like by making the decision from a more grounded and centered place, there's going to be a more positive outcome. But yeah, this card in reverse is like making sure that you don't overindulge, don't oversleep, don't overdo it on technology and social media, don't drink too much, don't indulge in substances too much, don't give your power away, don't what else? Don't overspend, don't overeat, those types of things. So it feels like this full moon in Cancer, it brings this craving for comfort and safety and nurturing. And if we aren't giving that to ourselves in healthy ways, it feels like we can look towards vices that aren't necessarily in our best interests to give us that feeling of comfort or safety or security that we are craving on an inner level. Yeah, the Four of Wands is a card, like it says, celebration. There is something to celebrate that will come as a result of this full moon, but just don't make any rash decisions, because it feels like maybe you're not quite seeing things clearly and your emotions could be kind of like clouding the reality of a situation. So don't, like I said, don't make the sudden decision to abandon someone or something, or don't make the sudden decision to, I don't know, dive into something that's not good for you. Like, just wait, hold off, and you will see things a lot more clearly soon, and you will be able to make those decisions from a much more kind of grounded place. All right, so I'm just going to quickly grab my, what's it called? Spirit animal deck. So give me 1 second. I also have 2 new decks, which after I do the animals, I feel quite drawn to pull 1 card from each and to read them from the guidebook, because I'm not very familiar with them yet, so I don't fully know all the messages that each card contains. So if you're patient enough and you don't mind listening to me read from the guidebook, stick around after these messages, because I will pull a couple of extras. And they will be more sort of spiritual based guidance. So what's been coming up has been very sort of like, or it's been more practical about your experience on the full moon, but then these will be more sort of spiritual. So stick around if you like. But for now, what is the collective advice for the full moon in Cancer in terms of spirit animal wisdom? You can also keep your eye out. We might get 2 animals. So we have the owl, and something fun that you can do when we do pull animal cards is you can keep an eye out for them, whether in real life, in magazines, on billboards, on TV, on social media. Spirit often has a funny way of sending these animals to us to confirm the messages or to remind you of the message. Boom. Oh my god, these messages are so in sync with what I literally just channeled with these cards. So we have the Owl, Sight, detach your emotions from situations that you cannot control. And I was just saying, like, this full moon might encourage you or tempt you to react or make a sudden decision based on your emotions, but it's not healthy to make that sudden decision. This is telling you to sort of just detach from it. Don't make any decisions, just detach emotionally and try to see the situation from a higher perspective and just sort of like wait things out. And then we have the Frog, stepping into your power. We were just talking about not giving your power away to other things or other people. And it says right here, don't take a back seat in your story. It's time to step up. And that kind of reaffirms that message. If you're giving your power away to other people, they're in the driver's seat and you're just in the back seat, being taken wherever they want to take you. Or if it's a situation, the situation's in the driving seat and you're just here for the ride. This is the time to step up and to, place both hands on the steering wheel and you decide from here. But like we said, don't make any sudden decisions in connection to each other. It's sort of more like detach your emotions and stop giving other people such power over your emotions. But they're more of like an isolated message about not reacting emotionally, trying to rise above, tune into your higher wisdom, your higher self. And this one's about not giving your power away to others, and sort of holding on to control. And not just others as in other people, but like things, habits, beliefs as well. So yeah, keep an eye out for owls and for frogs popping up on your timeline or your feed or like anything like that, because that's Spirit's way or the universe's way or your own spirit guide's way of confirming their messages and reminding you of them as well. So we're now going to get a card from the Rose Oracle for collective advice for the full moon in Cancer. And we're going to read it from the guidebook. Collective advice for all signs for the full moon in Cancer, please. Okay, so we have got here the Bud, potential, promise, it's about to happen, keep going. So that's the first card here, which we're going to read from the book. All right, the Bud. A bud is an embryonic swelling on the stem of the rose that has the potential to develop into a flower, leaf, or shoot. In temperate climates, plants form resting buds that are resistant to the brutal oh my god. It's Mercury retrograde. I was born in a Mercury retrograde and I'm a Virgo, ruled by Mercury. So honestly, when I try to read during Mercury retrograde, my mind goes too fast for the words and I really stuff things up, so bear with me. Maybe this was a really bad idea. The bud is the promise of what's to come. It's the physical manifestation of the seeds that we've been holding deep in the earth, nurturing and dreaming through the fertile void of winter. Now we find ourselves in the inner season of spring, and the bud is beginning to realize what it was always destined to be, but it still requires tending in order to bloom one day soon. This is a card of encouragement, potential, excitement, and hope. It invites you to keep facing your true north and show up for what you're being called to create. Your effort has not gone unnoticed. Keep going. Someday soon, you'll begin to see this beautiful creation in the world. The bud is connected with spring, the time when the upward energy of life is bursting on through. You may be seeing the first signs that things are beginning to come together. If you've been working on a project or have been dedicating yourself to ushering in some change in your life, you're being called to keep going and trust that what you've been working toward is happening. Keep tending your garden, and before long, the bud will begin to unfold and bloom. Soul inquiry. What new buds are beckoning to bloom within you? So that is very, very beautiful. For me, the link between this message and this one is if you've been working on a project or have been dedicating yourself to ushering in some change, you're being called to keep going. And that feels like that could definitely relate to the things that don't necessarily serve you, and having the confidence to let those things go and to commit to that path. But I also feel like it's like an additional message that's also not meant to link with that. It's also just like extra knowledge, if that makes sense. All right, so now we're going to go into the Sacred Sea Oracle. And the reason I was drawn to this is because, well, Cancer is a water sign and this is the Sea Oracle. So I feel like there could be like a message from the water gods or something. Look how beautiful these are, by the way. So nice. And they're holographic on the side. Stunning. All right, so what is the collective message or the collective advice for the full moon in Cancer? All signs, all viewers. Collective message. Okay, there we are. So we've got number 5 here, peaceful passageway, choose serenity. Well, if that doesn't just sort of sum this up perfectly, then I don't know, because it literally choose serenity. So don't let people disturb your peace. Don't give your power away to others. Don't make any emotional decisions unless it's choosing serenity or choosing your peace. So let me grab the book and we'll have a read of this. 5 is also a number of transitions, change, and we have a lot of messages about decisions and change. So very interesting. Okay. Peaceful passageway. All right, so sacred meanings: inner peace, calmness, serenity, relaxation, flow state, synchronicities, holidays, gentle joy, rejuvenation, integration, harmony, restoring of the body, mind, and soul. Sacred message: there are times when difficult life experiences will rattle you to the bone, causing trauma and destruction to your body and nervous system and aspects of your sacred life. This card appears to you as a calling to finally rest and breathe deeply. Your hard work is coming to a calm, still point in order for you to reflect on and rejuvenate from. Your ways of being and existing in the world are moving you into a very harmonious, conscious, and calm lifestyle. A tranquil mindset can allow you to find solace in all that you have gone through. Sacred Sea Ritual. Create time and space for a sacred soak. Submerge your entire body in a sea salt saturated body of water where you can fully relax, float, and meditate. Breathe deep as you honor yourself for all the challenges in your recent past. Take note that it is exactly that, in your past. Allow yourself to release the tension you are presently holding on to. This highly impactful experience came into your life as you were a vibrational match to it, and you get to see it in a new light, understanding the contrast this situation provided for you. You may now change the course of your path and change your thinking and feeling to create a new level of life. You have found this peaceful passageway, a new way of being in your mind, body, and life that is forever unshakably peaceful. You get to become the way shower and a beacon of light for others as you pass through. Take this moment to honor yourself and this initiation of your soul to a new level of deep inner peace. That's a really beautiful message. If you're interested in screenshotting this affirmation to say it to yourself, do so now. But yeah, that is your message, and it's a number 5, and it's on page 23, which is another 5. Very interesting. But yeah, so that's where I'm going to wrap up this full moon in Cancer message today. I hope that you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment if you feel like doing so. By commenting on my videos, you go into a monthly draw to win a gift card from my store where you can purchase readings, self-love programs, and things like that. But if this is where I leave you today, I look forward to seeing you again soon. Sending love, light, and everything bright. Bye.